Robin's Gargoyle by Max. Robin was 27 when he started to realize that he no longer believed in God. The year was 1870, and Robin lived alone in an old small cabin in the woods of Northern California. He didn't know what he believed anymore. All he knew was that he felt so completely at odds with his society and the world. He felt so lost and depressed and confused. He mostly stuck to himself and tried to stay out of trouble as much as possible. Robin had went to church every Sunday. His father was a preacher. His mother had died in childbirth, and he never knew her. After the Civil War, Robin had realized a lot of things about his country, and it was these many realizations that completely shattered his faith in Christianity and in his society. He could no longer see God as anything but a weapon, and his father as an instrument of that weapon. He felt the same way about his country as a whole and the government. He knew, however, that he believed there was more to life than could be explained by the sciences and observation alone. He had no idea what to do about any of these conflicting feelings he was struggling with, other than to isolate himself in his home and focus on his sculpting and creativity. He poured his heart and soul, stress, love, tears, and all his grief into everything he created. He had few friends, fewer relatives. His artwork and fantasies were his closest friends most days. Eventually, he stopped going to his father's church entirely. He grew pale and thin, and some of his hair was turning gray, and he grew some wrinkles and dark circles under his eyes at only 27. Most men his age had jobs, wives, and children. Robin did not care even slightly about having any of these things, and never had, except when he lied to himself. His only money he made was from selling his art. He'd built his own home. What he made was less than just barely enough to feed himself and get the material to create more sculptures. Robin was deeply afraid of the world he lived in. It all felt way too big for him. It drove him to depression and deep despair and confusion, which he hid from everyone. But Robin had a good heart, and he never took his frustrations out on others how some men did, how his father had done to him throughout his childhood, though his dad wouldn't admit it. Robin was always pouring everything into his artwork. It was what kept him going. His found purpose was his creativity. So when Robin's father had paid for his son to sculpt a gargoyle for the church Robin had spent most of his life going to, Robin was surprised by the request since he had long stopped attending. The big sack of coins at his door for the job incentivized him. But Robin was more surprised by his own eagerness and excitement to get to construct his family's church's own stone protector. Robin quickly got to work, cutting and carving away. He used a combination of stone, homemade concrete, and homemade clay. Within a week he had finished his most marvelous masterpiece. Robin was 5'6", his gargoyle was 4'9". Robin had poured all his feelings about the war and all his frustrations with his father and the church and God. He'd poured all his love and his joy and his hope for a better future into this gargoyle too. "I'll call you Benjamin," Robin said, laughing to himself as he looked at his beautiful creation, and he hugged his gargoyle and cried against it. He broke down and just let himself go, and as Robin's tears hit the stone, something miraculous happened. Robin's gargoyle hardened and dried in an instant, but then started to move fully on its own. Its lifeless eyes a moment before started to crack shut then blink open. Then it yawned and stretched, startling Robin to back away. Then Benjamin looked up at Robin and gave a huge toothy smile with its doggish face. It looked up at Robin with such a sadness, understanding, and fondness that Robin's heart melted for his creation in an instant. "Hello, Robin," Benjamin said in a deep voice. "Hello, Benjamin. Wait, how do you know my name?" Benjamin just laughs. "Of course I know the name of the man who just created me. I like the one you gave me too, by the way." Benjamin stands from the floor up onto his feet, then walks right up to Robin and hugs him tightly. "I love you, Robin. You are enough," Benjamin says softly. Robin blushes and feels his heart speed up. He pushes Benjamin away from him for fear of his creation and his confusing feelings. You can't love me. We've only just met each other. We are both men. You just came to life suddenly, and oh, I'm supposed to give you to protect my father's church tomorrow." Benjamin calmly takes Robin's right hand in his own and squeezes it. "It's okay, Robin. I don't want to protect your father or his church. I'm here to protect you. I want to protect you and only you. I have a plan of how to, too." Benjamin kisses Robin's hand affectionately. Robin realizes suddenly that he wants this too. "Oh, okay, well, what do I do then? I've already accepted the payment. This is my only home. If my father finds you like this, he and the townsfolk will destroy you, and they may exorcise me or beat the hell out of me too." Grinning, Benjamin shares his plan. Robin's eyes widen, and he nods in agreement with what he hears. It's a wicked and terrible plan, but if what Benjamin says is possible, Robin knows deep down it is what would set them both free. The next day, Robin's finished setting Benjamin on the church's roof. Benjamin stands perfectly still to sell the lifeless statue look, even though he's anything but. "Are you sure you'll be okay up here?" Robin whispers. "Trust me," the gargoyle whispers back and winks at him. Robin takes the ladder down and tells his father the gargoyle's finished being set up. Robin visits his father for 3 days and stays over at the church where his father lives and where Robin grew up. All 3 of the days he's visiting, he does exactly as the gargoyle commanded and sits in the pews of his church and prays dark prayers where he quietly voices all the grievances that he subconsciously poured into his gargoyle friend out into his prayers. The gargoyle told him not to pray to God, to instead pray to everything around him, to his own fury, pain, and hope, to let his woes fill the air of the church whenever his father isn't there to hear it, to completely pour it out of him and into the church as much as he could. So Robin does exactly that, and every day for each of the 3 days he's there, at exactly the stroke of midnight, Robin's gargoyle Benjamin would fly down from his perch on the roof of the church and come to where Robin sat and head bowed, praying, and Benjamin would urge Robin to stand, and he would look Robin deep in his sad, tired eyes. Then he would kiss him passionately and wipe the tears from his creator's eyes and just hold him. Then he'd take him there on the church pews and kiss him more and make love to him and redress him afterwards and fall asleep next to him until just before sunrise, when the gargoyle would wake before his inventor and fly back onto the top of the church and stand still again. Then, on the 4th morning, after Robin had spent 3 days praying his dark prayers into his childhood home and the church, when daybreak strikes, his gargoyle doesn't wake up alone, but Robin wakes with him. Robin holds Benjamin and looks up at the large wooden cross nailed to church walls in front of 2 large stained glass windows. Robin watches as the sunlight hits it and the cross catches on fire from the sunlight hitting it at just the right angle. The fire spreads rapidly. Benjamin takes Robin and flies away with him as the church burns down with Robin's father still inside of it. Robin knows this makes him no longer a pacifist, and he does not care one bit. This is justice in his eyes. He feels no remorse. He knows that this is what he wants. Benjamin flies Robin to his cabin in the woods, and they start their new life together. Free from the binds of his past at last, Robin is happy. He realizes he never needed any of the lies he was brought up with. He only needed himself, his art, and love. Love that didn't look like God or his father or his terrible bloodthirsty country or settling down with a wife, job, and kids, but love that was wrapped in cold stone, the cold stone flesh against his bare skin as they held each other in their bed. This was the love he'd needed all along, the love of a gargoyle, people like his protectors. In time, the dark circles under his eyes faded. Robin put on some weight. He laughed and smiled more. He and his lover were free.